Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's a beautiful 11th March 2021. Coming up on this episode of the Crusty Canuck podcast, third wave preparations, budget, we don't need no stinking budget, and possible tabled legislation on government-assisted suicide. Oh, wow. All that and more coming up in the podcast. Stick around.
Hit it, sweetheart. Because I am hard, you will not like me.
Yes, sir.
There is no racial bigotry here. Here you are all equally worthless.
From Western Canada, this is the Crusty Canuck podcast, a Canadian veteran's point of view on political, social, economic issues and life. Here's Crusty.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Crusty Canuck podcast. I'm your host, Crusty Canuck. Listener discretion is advised. I use big, bad, burly words. And if you do hear what you see, by all means, click like, subscribe, give me a thumbs up on the YouTube, help the algorithm going on. Please consider donating to at crustycanuck.ca. So as I mentioned in the intro, third wave preparations, we don't need no stinking budget, and C-7, a bill that was tabled recently, and I'll just dwell on a bit of it here. According to True North Media, they had an interview with MP Garnet Jennis there in regards to Bill C-7, basically suicide felicitation brought to you by Public Health Care. So more or less that means, ladies and gentlemen, now I'm paraphrasing. I listened to the story. I read a report there from Spencer Fernando and other media outlets and what have you. And I'm not going to sit here and blow hearsay or hyperbole at yous, but basically what it is, the government tabled a motion where in these trying times, if people are depressed and feeling sad and all that good stuff, then they'll authorize assisted suicide. Okay. Now, I'm going to confess again, ladies and gentlemen, to my listeners who haven't heard this before, or to people who don't know, listeners of the podcast, I suffer from PTSD. I was a soldier. I saw some action, saw some combat. Some of those things triggered me. Other events in my life triggered me too. And it brought me to a point in my life where I just didn't want to fucking do anything for anybody, anywhere, anytime, anyhow. And that's going back a few years now, where I was overwhelmed. I was depressed. I beat myself up. Didn't like myself. Didn't like a lot of things. And I was hurting. I was fucking hurting really bad. And luckily there's some people in my life, like my wife, and a few of my leaders that stepped up the plate and gave me a fucking hand to sort out my demons and give me a better incentive towards life as we see it. And let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen, life is fucking beautiful. But what gets me now is that we have a government that actually has the gall to table something like this. I mean, honestly, from what I got from that interview from Garnet Jennis and from Spencer Fernando, there, and I'll leave links in the description as per, the government's trying to justify suicide. Okay? Assisted suicide. Now, I can understand suicide if you have a terminal illness, i.e. you have Lou Gehrig's, you have Alzheimer's, dementia, you have a cancer that is going to put you through sheer fucking agony and suffrage galore. And I think it's up to the individual to decide if he or she wants to live through this, if they find a cure, or if not. But in these trying times where people are hurting all over the place, and not just in Canada, in the United States and Britain, and every working democracy for that matter, any fucking democratically elected government who would table such legislation is really, really out to fucking lunch. Okay? Honestly. Because not only have you just insulted the memory of people that I knew personally that are not here with us today because of suicide, because of dumb decisions, because of them pulling a trigger or hanging themselves. You motherfuckers have took it upon yourselves to make yourselves look more stupid, more arrogant, and more self-righteous than ever. Okay, yes, I'm angry, ladies and gentlemen. I am fucking livid after reading all this garbage and hearing this report. Now, maybe I'm a day late or 2 days late, whatever. It's Thursday. You know, they try to pass this legislation on a fucking Tuesday to hurry up and get it rushed. So if you're feeling forlorn and feeling sad and depressed, okay, we'll help you end it right now. Right? What kind of government's that? When especially they've spent millions on the Bell Let's Talk fucking program, that they encourage sports celebrities and Canadian celebrities alike to talk, to get things out in the open. And then they want to turn around and pass this legislation. Like, fucking half-cocked people and their great ideas. Little Ralphie's everywhere. I'm helping. Yeah. How much are you fucking helping now when you're encouraging people to stop, to just to cease, right? You've all promoted the economic uncertainty. You've all promoted the lockdowns. You've all promoted the so-called unfairness. And to top it all off, you want to pass legislation that makes it okay when someone's feeling bad that they can go and just off them lives, take their lives out, just clear out, just check out, and that's all there is to it, without understanding the repercussions of that, right? And it's a wonder I haven't gone loopy out of all this fucking legislation I have talked about the past year on the Crusty Canuck podcast in regards to guns, in regards to property rights, in regards to your own personal rights to thrive and to flourish by your own means. And yet there's still a handful of people in our Ottawa, in our great capital city, that still wants to put a stop on that, put their thumb on that. Now they want to fuck with our lives even more. They're encouraging it. Why would anyone table that motion? It is just as stupid as what Stephen Gobert wanted to do with fucking censoring the news and media for the sake of safety, right? Oh, of course, right? Taxing the shit out of us in the name of the environment. Oh, yes, that's right. We're going to charge you an extra carbon tax so you pay $85 extra a month just to heat your home because you're such a bad polluter, right? You have screwed our seniors out of money. You give them a meager $600 a month, and plus you tax that too. And then you turn around and try to table this bullshit. Right? Now, I'm a little surprised. I'm grateful that Mr. Gunnagenis went out of his way to talk about this to Andrew Lawton and on his own channel on Facebook. But what annoys me too is that how come we don't have enough fucking leaders on the opposition? Doesn't matter if you're NDP, Le Bloc, Green, PC, Independent, Libertarian, VCP such as myself, speaking out against this bullshit. Honestly. Government backed up suicide? Well, there's no hope for the economy, so here, if you want to check out, we'll allow it. Wow. Way to go, Liberal Party. Way to go. Oh, my God. Crack does not smoke itself.
Stay updated and follow Crusty Canuck on Facebook, Twitter, Gab, Telegram, YouTube, and Podbean. Subscribe today and donate at crustycanuck.ca.
Yeah, you're back with Crusty Canuck, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, C-7. Pardon me. Too much cigarettes today. Suicide facilitation. That's the magic word. Facilitation. Sounds like something you get in your feet, doesn't it? Sorry, I can't come out and play soccer today. I got some nasty facilitation on my toes. Right? But think about it. Right? This is something they tabled in the federal government, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I don't know every little exact detail or subheading or subparagraph or whatever legalese and other fucking word salad they want to put to it. But like I said, I paraphrased it and I summarized basically what I read and what I heard, that the government wants to pass legislation that will assist suicide if you feel the need to. And honestly, when I look back at my situations, there's still days where I've thought about it briefly for a second or two, and it hurts. And it especially hurts the families and the loved ones of some of our brothers and sisters that passed on before this podcast, right? There are a few guys I know that are not with us today because of PTSD, because of the trauma, because of the fear and the stigmas and the anxieties and the depressions and the second guessing. I still live with that every day, ladies and gentlemen. I still live with that every fucking day. But you know what keeps me alive? Besides my own desire to thrive, is you, my listeners, my fans, the people around me, my wife, my beloved wife, my father, my sisters, my recently deceased mother, my cousins, my aunts, my uncles, my friends, my dear friends, my glorious friends. They are what keeps me going. This podcast is what keeps me going. You, my listeners, is what keeps me going. And now we have these so-called experts sitting in fucking Ottawa, spending all of our money, telling us what more we have to pay forward, how much more we have to spend, how much more we have to wait, how much more we got to sit in our hands. And now they're passing legislation saying, oh, okay, well, if you want to check out, that's fine. What better way to promote how much you care and talk about unity and diversity, all at its finest parameters? You contradictive fucktards. I guess you can tell I'm angry, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, call an election already. I mean, seriously. Where do these assholes get off doing that? Where are these assholes getting off even tabling such a thing? Right? Tell me, give me your opinion. CrustyBCanuck67@gmail.com. Leave a comment on YouTube and Podbean if you can, or on my Facebook page, and pay attention to my community page too. Right? Even tonight, yes, I'll still be doing the Crusty Canuck Thursday night fastball. A guest to be confirmed, but I will have a couple of guests on this evening, so please tune into that. I'll be live on YouTube and Facebook. The Crusty Canuck Thursday night fastball. Right? Last week I had a great guest, Valerie Keefe. She did wonderful things, said wonderful things. And tonight I'm not exactly sure. I've been trying to get a certain individual booked. He couldn't make it. A couple of people stepped up, so I just got to confirm timings and all that good stuff. But you'll see a couple of guests on my show tonight. We'll probably talk about this further on the live stream. But still, how can you trust the government now with tabling such legislation? Oh, if you feel that you want to check out, you can check out. We understand. Yeah, we'll just spend more public health dollars on making sure that you go off in your journey and live a good life in the netherworld. Eh? What a great, compassionate bunch of people. Eh? Motherfuckers. Motherfuckers. What would Sam Jackson say? Yeah. And now, carrying on, enough of this anger and this depression. We've all been there, ladies and gentlemen. This day and age has proven it, and it's been testing a lot of our mettle, but I'm seeing more and more resilience. I'm seeing more people questioning, which is good. And all the more reasons for all of us to question this stuff. Question these ability. These morons are calling these shots, and for what? What are they sizing up for? Tell us where to spend our money. Tell us we have to spend more fucking money on heating our homes and gassing our vehicles. More money on tobacco, more money on liquor, right? There's rackets right there in every province. Doesn't matter, right? And then telling us we have to comply with the new tax regulations because we're all in this together, right? And not to mention more bullshit and divide coming from our great leader, Mr. Pert Plus, Potato Puppet, Sock Boy Aficionado, and the pint-sized twat herself. Let me be clear, Miss Krista Freeland. And other fucking regulators. But first, here's a message from my sponsors.
In October of 2015, Lindsay Robbins, like many of her fellow Canadians, was struggling with the turmoil of mental illness. The ups and downs of what she was going through was shaping her realities, and she longed for structure. As luck would have it, that structure presented itself to her in the form of gardening. And through gardening, Lindsay had an awakening that led her to create Produce for Heroes. Lindsay realized that our veterans were going through their own mental struggles, and through her own experience, she realized the power of community. By desiring to help the way that she had been helped, she has created a program that provides relief to veterans. Her food program, which aims to provide veterans and their families relief from the stresses of food insecurity and help alleviate the cost of living for those that have sacrificed so much for their country. Whether it's through directly contacting Produce for Heroes or through a friend's referral, all veterans and their families living in Canada are welcome. By shining a light on the struggle of veterans and their families, Lindsay is hoping to get her fellow Canadians to hop on board and support Produce for Heroes and our great veterans. If you or a veteran you know needs help, ProduceForHeroes.com is a great place to start.
Well, smack my ass and call me Judy.
This is Brian Boucher, the new CEO of Canuck Gold Corp. We have gold at 99% purity with discounts ranging from $100 up to $200 off the ounce. This is the right place to buy, from 2-gram cards to 400-ounce bricks. We have any quantity of gold you are looking for. We also sell by the ton, not like your ex-wife. Visit us today at canudgold.com, C-A-N-U-N-D gold.com.
Stay updated and follow Crusty Canuck on Facebook, Twitter, Gab, Telegram, YouTube, and Podbean. Subscribe today and donate at crustycanuck.ca.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, carrying on with more of this C-7 BS. Third wave preparations, and we don't need no stinking budget mentality, brought to you by the elected officials called the Liberal Government of Canada. Now, I'm going to carry on with the whole we don't need no stinking budget mandates. Now, it's been about 2 years since this country has seen any kind of budget proposal, any kind of budget whatsoever. You know, they use fancy words like fiscal guardrails and fiscal responsibility, which they're null and void, of course, right? And more of the Kielburger brother bullshit from the Wee scandal and some of their requests and regulations before they testify prior to Parliament. Now, I don't know about you, but if I was given anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000 and it was questionable how I obtained said money, and I was given a summons to appear in any kind of hearing or court in the name of Canadian law, who would I be to demand any kind of special treatment or regulations? Huh? Something to think about, eh? Would the justice, would the Queen's bench, would the Queen's prosecution or the Queen's defense sit there and cater to said requests? Or would I just have to fucking show up and speak my mind, right, to find out what the hell was going on if I did that sort of thing? Yeah, of course I'd have to show up, right? So why is it okay for a couple of spoiled little pukes? I don't give a fuck what their background is. I don't care what their intentions were. They were caught whipping their skippies at the taxpayers' dime. And now they're demanding special things to testify before Parliament? Really? Just goes to show how our society is getting fucked up every day. How more fucked up can we get, ladies and gentlemen? From Miss Meghan Markle screaming racism to Harry being her a cuckold to other so-called know-it-all and celebrity alike, telling us that there's racism here, racism there. To even our fucking Prime Minister, Mr. Pert Plus himself, talking about systemic racism in Parliament. Here, I'll play a little tidbit for you that he mentioned online there. Yeah, this is something that our beloved sock puppet potato aficionado and Pert Plus aficionado guy, you know, our Prime Minister, was saying yesterday, and this is thanks to the post-millennial. I'll let you listen to yourself and decide, ladies and gentlemen.
Prime Minister Tom Perry from CBC. I know you don't want to get involved in a constitutional debate. I know you don't want to comment on the royal family. But I would like to ask you, how do you reconcile your support for the monarchy with your stated desire to dismantle the legacy of colonialism in this country?
There are many institutions that we have in this country, including that big building right across the street from us, Parliament, that has and is built around a system of colonialism, of discrimination, of systemic racism in all of our institutions. But the answer, Tom, is not to suddenly toss out all the institutions and start over. The answer is to look very carefully at those systems and listen to Canadians who face discrimination every single day and whenever they interact with those institutions, to understand the barriers, the inequities and inequalities that exist within our institutions that need to be addressed, that many of us don't see because we don't live them. That's what fighting systemic discrimination is all about. Listening, learning, and improving and transforming our institutions. We have been open to that. We have been working on that from...
My question is material, and I would like a yes or no answer. So out of respect to that victim, a yes or no answer.
Yeah, pardon the other interruption there, ladies and gentlemen. I was downloading another program there, but you heard him, right? You know, the systematic racism of our institutions. Every one of our institutions is racist and prejudiced one way or the other. In a way, I can kind of agree with it. The Liberal Party has promoted prejudice towards veterans. The Liberal Party has promoted prejudice towards First Nations waters issue and certain land claims as well. And they've also promoted prejudice towards our seniors and working class Canadians. So I guess in a way he is right. But for that piece of shit to sit there and to tell us all that, oh, this building across the river here is a racist institution, a building that he works out of, that he was elected to look after, that he gets paid a hefty paycheck for, just as much as every parliamentarian in that building, and as far as I'm concerned, way too fucking much for the work they've done the past 5 years, for him to sit there and say, oh, it's racist. Oh, my goodness. You're jumping the bandwagon buster and you're fucking hunting for boogie monsters. You're ghost hunting. You're projecting. You're just pulling shit out of your ass. Hyperboil, you know? Is that the terminology? Am I saying it right? Hyperbole? That's the word. Hyperbole. Yeah, makeshift, gaslighting. You're full of shit. Okay? Because when you watch any question period episode or when you watch any coverage from Parliament, and especially when they actually have people in Parliament, not just your typical on-home banker wannabes and safe space aficionados, you're seeing a very, very diverse mix of people. All colors, all creeds. And to sit there and say the system is still systemically racist, you're fucking way out of goddamn left field. You're right out of lunch. Don't hand me that crap. I am not buying it. And I know a lot of Canadians who are not buying it anymore. So for you to sit there on national television and to keep putting this country down, it just goes to prove more and more how inefficient you really are and how less you really care. And that goes for you, your socks, your seat, your cabinet, your so-called appointed officials in the name of equity and parity, and everybody else who follows you. What a disingenuine fucking turd. What a bunch of disingenuine human beings. And to even top it off, to even promote something called C-7. Really. So it just goes to prove that you really don't give two shits about this country, regardless of how you think or how you act or how you try to look on camera. Mr. Trudeau, as far as I'm concerned, you're fired and you're done.
Stay updated and follow Crusty Canuck on Facebook, Twitter, Gab, Telegram, YouTube, and Podbean. Subscribe today and donate at crustycanuck.ca.
So carrying on, yes, we don't need no stinking budget, as well as the third wave and the C-7 issue, ladies and gentlemen. So, yes, they failed to table a budget again. So they're making shift for what they got and what they want to do to take more money of our pockets. Well, what else is new, ladies and gentlemen? It's nothing new, right? They've upped the taxes. They've upped carbon taxes, right? They've made the cost of living even fucking harder for everybody, not just for seniors and First Nations, but for everybody in this country, okay? And it's funny because I was watching the news with my wife today before she went to work. And, of course, we watched some footage from Parliament. And Miss May said some nice things about let's get along together and work together and stop being so partisan. And let's realize we're in this together. Meanwhile, she's still advocating for the annihilation, not the stopping, but the annihilation of fossil fuel industry in this country. And yet, just another bitter fucking reminder that here's a politician, a career politician, mind you. She's been in politics for more than 20 years. So as far as I'm concerned, she's a career politician. She has a drinking problem. She has a thing with words like fart and hell. And she's telling us to get along and let's unite. Meanwhile, she's a strong advocate for annihilating one of the country's best and better industries on the globe. So a little more disingenuous politics there, ladies and gentlemen. But I don't know what else to say in regards to the C-7 and the budget crap. We're not going to see one. I know we're not going to see one. But all the more reasons to fuel the fire for another federal election. And I hope to God there's going to be a fucking turnaround when it does happen. Anyhow, carrying on with the whole third wave issue too. Now they're preparing at Sunnybrook Hospital in Toronto. There's actually footage from CBC, CTV, and other mainstream media outlets. They're building a humongous Army medical tent. Now, we've seen those tents overseas. They were great. They do the job. They house patients, casualties of war, all that good stuff. Basically, a field hospital, per se. And they're putting this together to be on standby, to stand by for whatever third wave they might project or whatever false data narratives they're going to give, whatever false negative or positive image they want to promote. They're just getting ready just in case, right? And it's not cheap to do that, ladies and gentlemen. It's not a cheap procedure to deploy military assets to that spot, or to any spot for that matter. So there's more money going down the fucking drain in case of the old what if, because they're government and they're helping. Yeah, they're really helping. Well, third wave. More cash, more responsibility gone out the fucking window. More governments telling us that we can, we can't. More people telling us what we can and cannot do. And they don't see the results of their actions, right? Every day we're hearing about casualties and cases. And I'm not putting light, and I'm not trying to condone or just dismiss the 22,000 people that have passed on because of this issue, because of this bug, because of the beer bug, because of the COVID. I'm trying to find light in sanity again. And a lot of us Canucks are. A lot of my American friends are too. A lot of my British friends, my French friends, and my European fans alike too. Trying to find some sanity and some light at the end of this fucking darkness. And yet these people that are elected and or appointed in the name of, safety, democracy, don't want us to see this light. And why is that? Why is that? Are they going to hold on to dear life for their jobs and their pensions and their perks and privileges? Oh my goodness, right? And what gets me too about that conversation with Justin Trudeau about colonialism, we're no longer a colony. Now on paper, there might be some aspects of Canada being a colony of Britain because, we are part of the Commonwealth. And I've talked to Australians and New Zealanders and some Africans in regards to colonial stuff. And it's really not that bad when you think about it, because we're all allowed to govern ourselves. But in the same sense, I would keep certain traditions alive for the sake of, tradition. But when it comes to having a governor general in this country, I would either say abolish it or have it only activated when necessary. And I'd get rid of a lot of the pay and the perks that go with it too. I'd maybe leave some pay, but I wouldn't call it a full-time commitment, right? Because technically speaking, when you look at representation of this country, it should be the prime minister or the deputy prime minister if needed. But there's only a need for a deputy prime minister if there's a world war or a catastrophe of some sort, or if there's a known threat to the prime minister's life, right? Surprisingly enough, there hasn't been yet. Knock on wood, except for that poor guy named Corey who rammed Rudell Hall with guns and intent. But I can see why a gentleman like him would be angry. And I can see why a lot of people out there throughout our beloved Canada that are angry and sad and pissed and distraught because of so-called know-it-alls and their half-assed educations and their half-assed pieces of paper that say they have precedence over our lives. Wrong. But all the more reasons, folks, to have the old colonial British adage, the stiff upper lip, chin up, yes, of course. The old can-do adage that us Canucks can do ever so fucking elegantly with prestige and honor. Because our history has proven that time and time again. So when I hear someone talking about colonialism, oh my God, it's colonial. Then if you don't like the colonial idea, if you think Canada is so fucking terrible and so bad, then leave. You don't like it here? No one's forcing you to stay. Right? And it's not racist to say that. It's not misogynist to say that. It's telling one adult to another adult, or a young adult or an older adult. You don't like it here? Well, no one's forcing you here. But if you do want to stay here, be part of the fucking solution, not the problem. Okay? No one's telling you what to eat. No one's telling you where to shit. No one's telling you how to pick your nose. Right? But don't turn around and tell me how to pick my nose, where to shit or where to eat. You get it? Shit simple. No pun intended, but it speaks for itself. Right? And for our own leadership to sit there and advocate this garbage, and yet they're getting paid the big bucks. Every time they open up their wallets and they pull out a 10 or a 20, you realize you've got some monarchy on there. You realize you've got Canadiana on there. So does that mean everything that's stamped that says made in Canada is colonial? Everything you do with your life is colonial? Right? If you want to abolish the whole colonial fucking message out there, then okay, start with getting rid of the Governor General and start taking more responsibility for the people you elect. And that includes the administrators too and bureaucrats that sit there high in the fucking castle dictating to us when we can skate, when we can eat, when we can shop, right? Then you can get rid of colonialism, right? You want to bring new change and new challenges to surface, then stop adding more red tape and more rules and regulations to them. Open up the stores. Start being genuine again. Start looking at people as people, not groups of this or that, but people. All men, all women, right? All persons, all colors, all creeds, all faiths. Well, open up the mosques, open up the synagogues, open up the churches, open up the arenas, open up the stores. Let people be. Then you can start the economy again. Don't sit there and promote, oh, he's doing really well. You know, he really, really tries. You know, little kids try. Little kids really, really try. Grown-ass adults are supposed to do. Supposed to make things happen. But these grown adults that are elected, sitting off the fat of the land, sucking the life out of taxpayers, what are they really, really trying? What are they doing? No, they want to push the C-7. They want to warn us about a third wave, and they don't want to take fucking responsibility for a budget. Right? Priceless, isn't it? Really effing priceless.
Stay updated and follow Crusty Canuck on Facebook, Twitter, Gab, Telegram, YouTube, and Podbean. Subscribe today and donate at crustycanuck.ca.
Crusty Canuck back again, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. A little heated there, especially when it came to the suicide felicitation they were discussing there in C-7. A little emotional. It strikes a nerve with me. Now, you can say I'm triggered, but this is beyond triggering. This is just insulting. This is just really, really fucking insulting that we'd have a bunch of people that would table such garbage. And the same bunch of people that would lie about the budget, and the same bunch of people that would scream racism when they're probably sitting in one of the best government institutions on the planet. The parliamentary system is not perfect, ladies and gentlemen. I know that. No democratic system is perfect, but it sure as hell beats any kind of totalitarian suggestion that the so-called youth are promoting right now. Okay? And with that government comes a responsibility. It's like the old Spider-Man adage, right? Remember when Spider-Man came out in 2002? You know, Uncle Ben saying to little Peter, you know, with great power comes great responsibility. Yeah. Well, they have all this great power, yet what kind of responsibility are they taking, ladies and gentlemen? Sweet fuck all. So all the more reasons to pressure an election, regardless of the so-called, what they talk about, the data and the projections and the so-called third wave that is supposed to be coming. Okay? Let's start asking the tough questions. I highly suggest everybody out there who's listening to this show, call your MP. Doesn't matter if they're NDP, doesn't matter if they're liberal, doesn't matter if they're conservative, doesn't matter if they're green or they bloc. Call them, give him shit. What are you doing about this? Tell me about C-7. What does this mean? What kind of positive reinforcement and respect for your Canadian citizens are you going to get out of this legislation? Okay? What are you doing about the deficit? What are you doing about the budget? Why is there not a budget presented here? Okay? Why is there not more care and consideration when it comes to government-run LTCs and private-run LTCs for that matter? Long-term care, for people who don't know what LTC is. But you know what I'm saying? I'm really getting sick and tired of seeing all these wankers talk a good game, but they fail to lace up. And when they do lace up, they want to cherry pick. They don't want to get in the corners and forecheck and drive the body, shoot the foot. They just want to sit there and wait for the glory rather than get off their ass and get it themselves. Right? Like I say again, ladies and gentlemen, I am also a member of the Veterans Coalition Party. And I want to run for Battle River Crowfoot riding under the VCP banner. So man, that's why I'm so passionate, because I love my Canada. I love everything about my country because I fought for this country. And I know dozens of more people that fought for this country. People that are with me in Afghanistan in 2007. People that were there. And some of those lads and ladies aren't here with us today because of it. And yet we have an irresponsible government that squanders and squanders and squanders away like there's no fucking tomorrow. And again, I will remind my listeners out there that all those squanderers deserve
absolutely nothing.
Precisely. So before I end this show, I am going to issue the Canadian Polar Vortex Bullshit Award to none other than, wait for it, the Liberal Party of Canada.
The Canadian Polar Vortex of Bullshit
goes to the Liberal Party of Canada. That's all the way from Justin to Miss Chagger to Miss Tam to Miss Haydu to Miss McKenna, Miss Freeland, Miss Melanie Joy, and that half-assed minister of, what was that position again? I don't even remember her name because she's never been in the spotlight. She's hiding away in the corners all the time. The minister of middle class. So everybody in the federal Liberal caucus, you all deserve
the Canadian polar vortex of bullshit.
And well earned, sirs and ma'ams, or however you identify. Eh? I don't know what else to say, ladies and gentlemen. It's the fact that we got to keep our chins up, even more so now after hearing what you heard today and what's on the news and what's on True North and Spencer Fernando and Post-Millennial Lake. All right, but like I say, folks, if you do like and hear what you see, please click like and subscribe. Share this stuff around. Give me a thumbs up. Help with the algorithm. Get people out there and aware. Let people think for themselves again. Critical thought is key. Speaking our minds is key. Freedom of speech is paramount. Freedom of worship is paramount. Freedom of assembly is paramount. Freedom to be, freedom to do is paramount, ladies and gentlemen. Regardless of how you feel about the pandemic or not, it's there for everybody. You can choose to wear a mask or not wear a mask. You can choose to wear gloves or not wear gloves. I wear a mask when I go out in public in certain stores just because I don't want the bullshit. I want to go there, do my thing, mind my business, and just carry the F on and come home to my wife and just do what I do, what I want to fucking do. You know what I mean? Anyhow, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Crusty Canuck on the 11th of March, 2021. And like I say, stay tuned this evening at 4 p.m. Mountain and 6 p.m. Eastern for the Crusty Canuck Thursday Fastball. I will have a couple of guests on, but they've yet to be confirmed. But needless to say, we'll have guests on tonight's show. And feel free to ask me and my guest any question you like. Just keep it clean and realistic. We don't care if you drop an F-bomb or a C-bomb, but nothing vulgar or rude. And definitely nothing but bigoted or racist. I got no tolerance for that shit. But for my fans out there that follow, please pass this along, share it around, and tune into the live stream tonight if you can on YouTube and Facebook. Brought to you by the good people at StreamYard. And if there's anybody out there listening that wants sponsorship, please, I have spots open. I would love to sponsor your product. Just send me an email, crustybcanuck67@gmail.com, and we can go from there, working a price, negotiation, spots, what have you. So, like I say, folks, I've been Crusty Canuck. Do what you can to help each other out. You know, let's watch each other's backs, and let's not buy into any more of these mandates and these bills they're passing. And like I say, call your MPs, get on them. Get on them like white on rice or like a fat kid and a Smartie. Get on them. Ask the questions. Keep them fucking working. That's what they're supposed to do. They want the big bucks. They got to do the big work. It's that simple. Anyhow, like I say, do what your friends do. Your friends. Well, if you want to do your friends, go right ahead. But do what you can for your friends and loved ones. You know, these trying times. And remember, humanity and merit wins the day. Take care. And I'll see you tonight, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.
Hit it, sweetheart. Because I am hard, you will not like me. Yes, sir. There is no racial bigotry here. Here you are all equally worthless.
This has been another episode of the Crusty Canuck podcast. Stay sane and thank you for listening. From Western Canada, this is the Crusty Canuck podcast.